Hi everybody, this is the Golden Era Bookworm. Today I'm going to talk about Eric Pedersen, who was a bodybuilder from the late 40s, competing with the likes of Steve Reeves in the Mr. America contest. He was very famous for his very peaky biceps, and he was a natural athlete at the time. This is an article written by him called How I Developed My Arms. As I said, Eric Pedersen was very famous in the 40s, the late 40s. He competed, for example, with the Mr. America 1947 and came second against a very impressive Steve Reeves. You can see why many readers of Your Physique and Muscle Power actually asked about how he developed his arms. You can really see on the left arm how peaky his bicep was. And so he wrote an article. The source of this article is actually from Your Physique, January 1948, after the Mr. America tournament of 1947. Eric Pedersen goes on to talk about the major things that led to his fantastic peaky bicep development. The first being concentration. He would really think about every single rep. So he had a real good muscle-mind connection. And he would actually think about every flexion and extension, every single rep. He also, excuse me. He also believed in looking at your arms, and you can see in a photo as he's doing these concentration curls. He's actually looking at what he's doing, and in this way, he believes that the more concentrated you are, the better will be your movement, and therefore the greater force will be exerted on the muscle. He was a firm believer in using isolation work, and for isolation work, basically this meant working each muscle individually. The arms are composed of small muscles, and so he was a firm believer in isolation movements. And again, this really goes to his theory of concentration. By isolating the muscle, you're better concentrated and you will basically reap more rapid results. So yeah, just reading what it says there. I mean, he's only using 100 pounds for the tricep extension, as you can see in this article. That's not much. So it's not like he's using 100 kilos like you see on the stacks nowadays. It's just 100 pounds, it's 45 kilos, so it's not much. But he really believed on working the muscle by thinking about it and concentrating. He was also a firm believer in using light weights, light dumbbells, light weights in general, because it then allowed you to concentrate on the effort being exerted on the muscle. High reps were performed, basically 15 reps. And for example, he actually mentions in the article, instead of using 50 pounds on, let's say, a standing dumbbell curl, he would rather use 25 to 35 pounds and perform 4 sets of 15 reps and totally exhaust the muscle. And again, by using a light dumbbell, he could really concentrate on each curl movement. Here he is doing what I believe, excuse me, I've got a bit of a cold, what I believe are French presses behind the neck, again with very light dumbbells, but he's really thinking about the stretch as he goes down to the bottom and the concentration at the top. Other work that he performed besides the basic extensions and curls was chinning to the front and back of the head, as well as hand balancing, which was a very popular, I guess, pastime at the time. Many bodybuilders were very adept at hand balancing. He would also perform handstand dips. Now that requires a lot of balance and strength to do that, so that's why he had 18-inch arms. He also believed in performing partial burns at the top and at the bottom of each motion on his last set. So partial burns aren't something from the recent times. They are a concept that were used way back in the 40s. So he actually used those to really take everything he could out of the motion, out of the movement. And for example, he would do these for curls and tricep extensions. So I hope you've enjoyed watching this video. Excuse me for having a bit of a cough and a cold. But yeah, I hope that if you perform or take any of this advice given by Eric Pedersen, former wrestler and most muscular man of 1947 and Best Arms Award, second place 1947 Mr. America, that you can develop some great softball peaky like biceps like he has there. He's posing. That was a photo taken at the 1947 Mr. America competition. Fantastic. Eric Peterson was truly a legend of the time and was a great competitor against Steve Reeves. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, please give it a thumbs up. Leave me a comment, subscribe if you haven't. This is the Golden Era Bookworm. I hope next time I'll be a little bit healthier. Bye for now.